Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of our Lion Turtle podcast. My name is Sal, and with me is my best friend, my forever travel buddy, the one who puts all of this together and is insanely smart and knows how to work all these gizmos and gadgets, my wife, Christy.
Hi everybody, how's it going?
So this is the first time we're giving a podcast a try. Listen in, if you enjoy it, that's great. Leave a review, leave a comment, let us know what you like. If there's something that you think we can do better, again, leave a review, leave a comment, let us know what we can do better. But we want it to be interactive. We haven't really put together exactly what we want this podcast to be about, but we know we want it to be about travel. We want it to be about that aspect of our lives. And we get a lot of questions from a lot of people of how are you guys traveling? How much is it costing? How are you getting the time off to do it? Where are you going next? Why are you going here? Blah, 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 blah.
So not mainly just about us, but how we're doing it and to help
you do it
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's one thing we always want to encourage others to travel, just like we were encouraged a long time ago.
Yeah.
We want to tell everybody like you can do it.
Yeah. So that's kind of the going into it. That's what we want, but we need your help. So help us out. Give us comments, give us reviews, ask us questions, and really help guide the show of where we want it to go, where you want it to go. So today we're going to go over a few things. We're actually going to go over our next trip that's coming up in May and in June. So it's a 2-month-long trip. We're going to talk about the road trip aspect of it. We'll delve a little bit into the Asia aspect of it. And we'll also talk about how we were able to not only afford these trips, but also get the time off. So Christy's going to talk about the road trip aspect of it and where we're going and why we're going there. So Christy, take it from there.
Okay, so we're going to be going on puppy road trip number 2. We did the first one for a week. We loved it, making the memories with the dogs. And just not having to leave them at home alone where we miss them so much.
Yeah.
And not having to ask favors from friends and family like, hey, can you take care of our dogs? Or having to hire like an online dog house sitter because that can get expensive too. And so yeah, puppy road trip. We're going to start here, San Antonio, of course. And we're going to go to Marfa, White Sands, New Mexico, the Grand Canyon, Las Vegas, Yuma, Arizona. Hi, Uncle Marty. We'll see you soon.
Just gonna drop in. How's it going?
San Diego. So, Cousin Rick, Charlie, we're looking at you guys. And then on our way back, we're just gonna do a stop in Tucson, a stop in El Paso, and then all the way back to San Antonio. So on the way back, we're not really stopping to sightsee so much. We're just gonna make the long haul back home.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm super stoked, excited to see all those places. I mean, we actually haven't seen any of those
places.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Like every place we're gonna stop at is gonna be new for us.
Yeah, and that wasn't actually that wasn't the original plan. The original plan looked way different, and in fact, we're gonna take our wagon, which is our Subaru. But before that, we were actually thinking about renting one of those converted tiny home like van lifestyle things. And then when we were thinking about the logistics of it, with taking 3 dogs, and maybe Christy and I want to take a night to go eat dinner or go see something. We decided to do Airbnbs, and when we decided to do Airbnbs, that really changed where we were going to visit and what we were going to do with our time. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, how long did it take us to put together this list?
It was a couple hours, maybe 4 hours or so?
So a couple hours times 2.
Like an afternoon. We sat down and just focused on this task, though. Like, we weren't really distracted by our phones or anything else. We had like a rough draft and then redid it. Oh, and you know what? Maybe we can put it in the links or in the show notes, but to link the website that we use to help us plan out. It was pretty cool. Like, you can put your points, and it tells you like what's of interest around there, and then it gives you like the distance from between each one. So it's like almost kind of like using Google Maps, but it's a little better for helping you plan a trip.
It's a little more intuitive because it knows specifically what you're trying to do.
Yeah, that helped a lot.
That helped. Tip, if you're putting together a road trip, don't get married to the idea of visiting any one town. Like, we marked
I thought you were just said, like, don't get married. I was like, what?
No, we got that taken care of right away. No, don't be married to the idea of visiting any one town. We had a few towns on there that we marked off and added others.
Oh, yeah. And it changed quite a bit.
Yeah, and neither of us took anything personally, like, well, I don't really think that's a great idea. Oh, I think that's a great idea. Okay, and kind of work together.
So we want to be efficient with the amount of time we're spending on the road, and then actually having more time at the places than on the road, just being stuck in the car the whole time.
And you got to kind of weigh it too. So one of the things was how much do we want to drive every day versus how long do we want to stay somewhere. So we did it to where most of the days of driving are about 4.5 hours. There's one day, the final day to finally get home, and it's an 8-hour drive from El Paso to San Antonio. Other than that, everything's 4.5 hours. I think there's like 1 6-hour day when we get to the Grand Canyon. We're gonna camp out at the Grand Canyon, which is awesome. I've never seen the Grand Canyon. I'm really, really looking forward to that. So, yeah, that's the road trip aspect of it. So that's really exciting. And then when we finish the road trip, we come home and we're home for
about a week and a half, depending on we have a little padding, kind of like depending if we take an extra day here or there on the road trip. But in between the road trip and the trip to Thailand, we do have about a week to 2 weeks to work with.
Yeah, we want that time to clean the house, fix anything around the house. Christy's brothers volunteered.
Hopefully. Andre, we're holding you to it.
Yeah, you said yes.
You said yes. So, I mean, we've already assumed it's locked down, locked in,
We offered you money, man. So Christy's brother said that he'd be willing to take care of the dogs for the month while we were away. So spend a few days with him here in San Antonio to make sure he knows how to get around the house, how to get around the city, how to take care of the dogs, understands the instructions of, anything that needs to be done in the house, like weekly or something like that. And then we fly out to Thailand. And okay, if you have it off the top of your head, I don't remember the flights to Thailand. I know we leave San Antonio, end up in Seattle to Hong Kong.
We have a connection in Las Vegas. Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Yeah, so we go from San Antonio to Los Angeles to Seattle all the way to Hong Kong, and then Hong Kong to Bangkok.
We'll be in Thailand, spend time in Thailand. We got to get a local flight back to Hong Kong, and then from Hong Kong, we'll go Chicago, I think Charlotte, and then
But we're going to spend a few days in Hong Kong.
Yeah, we'll spend a few days in Hong Kong. So we haven't planned that part out yet. It might be a week, might be only 3-4 days in Hong Kong. We haven't worked out the details of that.
We haven't researched, what to do or what's the best amount of time to spend there, so yeah.
So the question of, why does anybody care, right? Why? Well, because...
We're not just trying to brag.
We're not just trying to brag where we're going. It's because, okay, the road trip is all that is going to cost us some money because we're paying for Airbnbs.
Yeah.
Right? So
and
gas. But the trip to Thailand for a month, the flights ended up costing us like 200.
Like 200 and something, like 300 tops.
It was like $250 actually.
Yeah.
It was like $250 for round trip tickets to Thailand. We're flying there business class and we're coming back economy. Unfortunately, and the only reason is because we couldn't find any business class seats available to come back. And
we couldn't find any business class award seats, so that makes a difference. Because
we bought it with awards. That's what I was getting at. We used miles, we used awards to get those flights, and we worked on it, and it works. It really does. And we tell people all the time, "Oh man, how much is that costing you?" Not much, and you can do it too. And that's why we're recording this. We want to talk about that kind of stuff, but we want to explain the kinds of things that we're doing. You doing it, so you can maybe believe us and ask us questions and we can answer those questions. And one of the things that they're asking, and we were just talking to Christy's mom on the phone, and she's asking, how are you getting 2 months off? and so it's kind of a thing for both of us. So you can explain how you're in a position for us to take 2 months off, and then I'll explain how I ended up in the position.
Okay, so if any of you guys follow my channel, Where is Christy on YouTube, you know that back in October, I decided to stop working full-time. And there was a couple of reasons why, but I stopped working full-time, and then I was still doing a little bit of part-time just up until last week, because I was also trying to, basically build up my videography skills to continue to grow my YouTube channel, and then also start a business. And so, now I am no longer working for anybody else at all. I'm just working full-time for myself, which means that I do have the flexibility to take time here and there where I want. Yeah,
which I'm extremely proud of her for that, because you gotta have some guts to do it, and I support her whatever she wants to do.
Yeah. I would have not done it. It was scary, and he just encouraged me. He said you can do it, and then he supported me because we were gonna be losing my income. I didn't know if I was gonna make any money at all, or when, but yeah, I mean, I'm just so thankful that, Sal here was
Good old buddy.
willing to support me in this like crazy just new life goal and change that I really wanted to pursue. But even though I had the time and flexibility now to travel more, Sal still couldn't do that. And so it's like, well, we can't still go wherever we want, or I'm just going to go by myself.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. What happened was over the last year, 2 years, I've been telling Christy a lot, man, I feel like I'm professionally stagnated, right? I'm not growing professionally. I'm not doing anything different. I have a bachelor's degree in accounting. And so I can get a job anywhere doing anything. Doesn't always pay that great, but I can always make income. But the place I was at, I was making pretty decent money. It's just didn't get any time off. Mm-hmm. And I found myself just doing basic bookkeeping style things when I know I'm capable of doing more. So I've been telling Christy about that. I signed up for online master's courses. I started, pursuing my master's degree, and that still wasn't cutting it. And so I told Christy, I want to go on one of these long trips. We've gone to Japan a couple of times. We've gone to Scotland. We've gone to Ireland, and we've gone to Hawaii. Every time we go on a trip, it's never enough. It's like a week and a half, and it's frustrating. And mm-hmm. I don't want to regret anything when I get older. So I want to do this. And Christy was like, yeah, let's do it.
Well,
do it.
Yeah, like, we enjoyed all those trips. Like, we've loved them, and it's been a great experience. But every time, like, the time comes, to come home by that 7th day, like,
it's not enough.
We just feel like, oh, we just needed, like, another day, another 2 days to, like, explore this other side or do this mm-hmm. thing a little bit longer, or just not rush. Like, when I know that I only have 7 days, then I need to, like, see as much as I can. And we're talking 12 to 14-hour days. Yeah. Trying to see everything. And, he gets tired. I mean, understandably, I'm just, like, a different kind of person where I just, like, go on adrenaline and go, let's see everything, But a normal person, gets tired and, needs a break.
So I basically quit my job.
Back to that.
Back to that. So like we do our best to save money. We've always saved money since she met me. I was very frugal. I was very good with saving my money and only spending on the necessities. I didn't know what I was saving for, but I just knew it was important. Mm-hmm. And I'm very fortunate that I found someone who like saw that and was like, you know what, that's actually a pretty good idea, and I'm gonna go ahead and like adjust the way I spend money, and we can go in that together. So we have enough money saved up to go, like 6 months to a year without working, which is all the articles always say, right? You should have 6 to 12 months of an emergency fund. So yeah, I told my boss, I was like, hey, in 3 months, I'm going to go on a 2-month long trip, and I don't expect to have my job when I come back. And I understand that, but I'm telling you this now so we can find a replacement. I don't want to leave you high and dry. I don't want to burn any bridges. I want to make sure your company's taken care of. That's my job right now, to make sure your company's taken care of. And that's what I'm going to do before I leave. And long story short, him and his brother came back with some counter offers. And yeah, they offered me to stay with the company after my 2-month trip. And they would change my job position to let me focus on some more analytical, higher level things. And yeah, so I'm super thankful. I'm going to have a job when I come back. Yeah. So that's really awesome. If you hear dogs in the background, those are the puppies that we're taking on our road trip.
Oh, yeah. You probably heard Josie stumping earlier.
Yeah, and then in the background, Harley's screaming and barking, and we love them, and we do everything for them.
If you guys know, we have 3 dogs, and that's why we're going puppy road trip. So it's just part of the ambient sound that makes us who we are.
It's part of our overall who we are. Yeah. But yeah, so the point of that though is, if you want to travel, sometimes you're gonna have to make sacrifices. And it's important though that you plan ahead. Like, it really is a lifestyle choice. You have to make sure you're spending your money properly, saving money, so that way when the time comes, you have the freedom to make that decision to walk away, and you're not tied to a job. You're not tied to something. But it takes a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
It takes I'm 31. I've been working since I was 16.
But I mean, it's not like we've, yes, it's a lifestyle, and, you have to make sacrifices. And so when you decide, like, hey, I want to be able to do this, you start making moves to make it happen. Yeah. Certain moves, certain things, okay, does this bring me closer to what I want to do, or does it set me back? Yeah. It just kind of depends. And so, that may mean you're having a tough conversation with your boss.
So that's where we're at. That's the first episode of the Lion Turtle podcast. But before we leave, one of the things that if we're not answering questions, I think it's always something that we want to try and add a tip or add something that you should be aware of before we leave. So, Christy, what I'll ask you is, if you only have 1 minute to give someone a quick tip,
well,
hey,
can I say two things?
Okay, you got a minute to say it. So go.
Well, I was gonna say, we're not just rambling, or we're not just trying to brag about what we're doing. So what's the moral of the story here, or what are we trying to do? And like we said, so we are trying to build this travel lifestyle for ourselves. If that's what you want, you got to start listening to tons of podcasts, reading, watching YouTube channels, and figuring out what skills do I have that I can incorporate into this. And you make a move, you make a step, like baby steps. I mean, we had started planning this and thinking about this. It's been about 2 years that we've been saying, we want to do this, and okay, how do we get there? And then as far as, okay, well, how do you travel for cheap? Because even though you have the flexibility, it can be expensive.
So that's the second part, how to travel for cheap.
For cheap, we do the travel hacking. We do the credit card points and miles. Get yourself financially ready to get in the credit card game.
Yeah.
The point is not to get more debt.
Right.
The point is just to get the benefits that they're offering for opening the cards, which is the points and the miles. And you just use them like a debit card.
Yeah, I want to touch.
Sal can explain that.
Yeah, I want to touch on that. So that you have two things, right? You have credit cards and you have credit card debt. We are not talking about going into credit card debt. Mm-hmm. We have no credit card debt. We pay our balances weekly. So that's that financial discipline that Christy's talking about going into it. It's something that you can do even if, and I'll say this, even if you're the idea of constantly traveling doesn't inspire you, but you do have that one place you want to visit. Oh man, I really want to go to Germany because that's where my family's from. I want to go to Thailand because that's where my wife's family's from. I want to go here or there, whatever, but it's so expensive. Maybe it'll take 6-7 years of saving up to do it. Well, maybe it doesn't have to, right? Mm-hmm. You can do it using these tricks that we know, using the hacks that we know, and get that one trip out of the way, and you're done. You've fulfilled that dream, and you can go on with your life of working and raising kids and doing all that stuff that means something to you, that you value, but you get that out of the way. So keep listening to the podcast. Ask us questions, because as we make more episodes, we'll spend time going into how did we first start? What was the first card we got? What benefits did we get? What cards are we using now? How do we keep track of it? I mean, these are all things that are so complicated we can't cover in the first episode. But we do just want to introduce ourselves if you haven't ever met us. And if you do know us, hit like if it's on YouTube. Hit subscribe wherever you're listening to podcasts. Subscribe, and we'd love to keep talking to you.
Yep. Thanks for listening, or thanks for watching, and we hope that you guys learned something.
Yeah.
Take something away, because that's our main goal, just sharing our story and sharing how we're doing this. Hopefully we'll see you soon, or hopefully we'll be talking to you soon.
Yeah, and just thanks for listening to the Lion Turtle podcast, and subscribe, and we'll see you later. Leave a review. All right, we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
All the live long day, I'll be moving along.